discusses that item on the agenda. If you're addressing the board on a non-agenda item, we will take those comments at this time. Please be aware that the provisions of the Brown Act prohibit the board from acting on or discussing non-agenda item matters at this meeting. Public comment are limited to 3 minutes per person per topic. There'll be a timer on the screen. As it approaches 3 minutes, you'll see it. And if it goes past that, I will offer you a warning. Know that I do so respectfully. Ms. Ellinger, do we have any speakers wishing to address the board?
Yes, we have one speaker, Nick and Jessica Schmier.
So just want to put a face to our names because we have been in contact with each and every one of you, and we will unfortunately continue to be in contact with you. Just letting you know that now. You know why we're here. At the end of the day, I just want to stress, because I'm overhearing conversations, and this is not about Sandpiper being a bad school. This is about it being not Ralston. That's all this has to do with. So I need to stress that first. So when we get into it, at the end of the day, started out 49 kids. It's now 36. 8 girls.
In the 6th grade.
In the 6th grade. At the minimum, this is a developmental time. I'm trying not to regurgitate our emails. There's 8 girls. I said in our email to, I don't know who's who and whatnot, I apologize. Playing football with the PE teacher because no other girls want to do anything. The past 2 days, volleyball by herself at lunch off the baseball fence. She shouldn't have to go play with 7th and 8th grade girls in order to have friends and develop and socially, grow. The school's not for her. Ralston is for her and everything it offers. At the end of the day, we weren't in the district last year, but we've been in the district for 4 of the past 6 years. To kind of exclude kids that weren't there seems a little unfair. I think that's a topic down the line that needs to change. It's a hard thing to talk about. You know what I mean? I'm here to fight for it. That's what you do for the ones you love, and I will continue to fight. I had a whole bunch of stuff I wanted to say, but it's hard because I'm emotionally, it's hard.
I'm going to go into a quick little thing and just show you Olivia's academic achievements. She's a straight A student. She needs to switch classes. She needs every opportunity that every other kid had last May when they enrolled. She enrolled. We're here. She got the Faith Award. She was the president of her 5th grade class. She wants student body government. She wants to have hundreds of friends. She wants to play sports. She was the captain of her team. She's made 18 for every sport: volleyball, basketball. She plays football. She plays softball. She was awarded. It's more than sports, but sports align with so much social, emotional activity for these young girls. When there are 8 girls or 36 students in one grade, that is limiting who she is. She's crying at night. She has headaches at night. She's stressing because she's alone. Sandpiper is phenomenal. They should have 200 students. But for our daughter, she's alone, and we're begging you to be our voice and to fight for her and let her have every opportunity that Ralston allows. There can always be wiggle room, and please allow her to be one more number there. She deserves it.
It's not a black and white kind of issue. There's gray areas to everything.
She shouldn't be crying.
This is a gray area, and there needs to be some understanding of it.
Thank you for listening. We know you can't respond, but thank you, and we really hope we get it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that is all the speakers.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Ellinger. On to item number 5, our superintendent's report.
Good evening, board. I want to start with real quick clarification on our consent and consent approval. We had 4 approval with 1 absent, showing trustee Cost as here at this point. Thank you, trustee. And I want to just go ahead and launch in. We had a successful start to the 25-26 school year. We welcomed 3,884 kiddos last week, and we're well into the school year. So really exciting start. I want to send a quick thank you to the SMCOE staff who are hosting our board meetings this year while our district office is under construction. That construction will take place. Actually, we'll start moving out at the end of this month. But the San Mateo County office staff has been really gracious in letting us use their facilities this year, as well as setup. Zach is here taking care of us with tech. Richard was here taking care of us with all the setup, and much appreciation to Superintendent McGee for allowing us to use this space. So with that, the big pieces that I had are actually covered in my strategic plan update in just a little bit, so I'll hold it for there. Welcome back.
Thank you. I'll do item number 6, or 2025-26 certified substitute salary schedule with Director Eastburn.
Good evening. Tonight, item number 6, we have an update for the certificated substitute salary schedule to compensate for the increase in Wednesday lunch in a congregate setting. So that the half-day rate and the partial day excluding Wednesdays and conference, those 2 partial day rates were updated to reflect that. Also, the home instruction teacher rate increased from $210 to $230, primarily because that's a hard to fill position, and that matches the long-term substitute rate. It is recommended that those items be approved.
First open for discussion. Are there any questions? Seeing as there are none, I have a motion to approve the 2025-2026 certificated substitute salary schedule.
I move that we approve the 2025-2026 certificated substitute salary schedule.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Seeing as there are no nays, item number 6 is approved. Don't go anywhere. Item number 7, classified substitute salary schedule. Director.
Item number 7 before you is our updates to the classified substitute salary schedule. The first item is to increase or to add a line item for licensed vocational nurse, otherwise known as LVN. And the second one is to align the hourly rates for paraeducator and nutrition clerk. So for those reasons, it is recommended that the classified substitute salary schedule be approved.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Again, I have a motion to approve the 2025-2026 classified substitute salary schedule.
Great. I just want to say thank you to Director Eastburn and her team for identifying that need. When we make those adjustments, it ensures that we are able to recruit and retain our substitutes, which are really important each and every day. Thank you.
I move to approve the 2025-2026 classified substitute salary schedule.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Seeing as there are no nays, the classified substitute salary schedule is also approved. Thank you, Director Eastburn. Item number 8, our strategic plan with Superintendent DeWara.
Great. I am tag teaming this strategic plan update tonight with Director Simon. So he's going to have to find his way to make it up here a bit if he can, or deliver from back there. Either way, I want to go ahead and just jump in here. Our strategic plan framework 23-26 through 2026. We're in the third year of our strategic plan, and I'm really pleased with the way it's all come together. You'll recall that we have four main components: teaching all students to be well-rounded learners, fostering belonging and inclusion, promoting community engagement, and investing in securing in our long-term future. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about the bottom two quadrants, promoting community engagement. Actually, I'm going to be talking about that one. Jerome's going to be talking about the investing in the long term with our technology piece. We can go to the next slide. We've been doing a lot of work thinking about what it is we promise our community in terms of a profile of our empowered learner, teaching students to be well-rounded learners, to think and deepen their understanding, to innovate, exploring ideas, and to advocate, champion positive impact in themselves and in others. I got really excited this summer when I read the book Disengaged Learner, or Disengaged Teen, excuse me. And I'm just going to start by saying the name of that book is a little bit of a distractor for me, the idea of teen, right? I think it really speaks to learning at all levels, from little guys to teenagers to adults. We always want to make sure that when we're learning, our learning is optimized, that we're engaged in the greatest way possible. So I started the year with our staff around the idea of engagement and agency. We talked a lot about how we build a culture that encourages both agency and engagement within the context of our profile of a learner. If we can go to the next slide. There we go. So the idea kind of this year is setting that driving question of how can we cultivate a learning culture where achievement, agency, and engagement work together to bring our profile of a learner to life for every student. So that's how we kicked off the year. We're focusing on really three levers this year. If we can go to the next slide. One is just engaging in that conversation with our teachers. What does it take to ensure maximum engagement for each and every one of our students, right? That idea that strong teaching and learning happens in each and every one of our classrooms, and how do we continue to build on that? Two is through professional learning and professional development. We're sponsoring a kind of a unique cohort that'll go throughout the school year to build a project-based learning style around environmental literacy, looking at connecting our students with learning in different ways. That'll be facilitated by Cheney Munson, and it's pretty exciting, right? We're just starting to recruit for the cohort now. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll see examples of lessons and engagement that brings our profile of a learner to life. And then finally, the community book club. You've probably seen the advertisements already. We're going to facilitate a book study around the disengaged teen with Stanford's success group, Challenge Success. Already we have a good number. We have 40, as of today, we had 45 folks signed up for that. And we just started promoting it. So it's going to be multiple 75-minute sessions coming soon. The board has the book study club, the book club study guide on the dais here for you. Hopefully you will attend, but we're encouraging all of our community members, parents, teachers, daycare providers, anybody who's interested in learning and thinking about engagement to join us. So that's, again, I'm going to emphasize sponsored with our PTA. There's a collaboration happening there, Stanford's Challenge Success and the district team. So looking forward to that. And with that, I'll turn it over to Jerome for an update on tech. Next two slides are just informational. Yeah.
So I'm just here to kind of give you guys an update on some of the projects we've been working on alongside that have been outlined in the strategic plan. All of them were kind of, brought out during that period of planning, strategic plan, was things that came up are like staff devices, student devices, just long-term plans for that, and providing, effective technology to, do that well-rounded learning piece. You go to the next slide.
Director Simon, real quick, I just want to make sure your mic is on.
It was coming on there.
Okay.
so I think- yeah.
Perfect.
First piece is the staff Mac deployment. So as we planned during the strategic plan, we decided to move forward with Mac devices for staff. That's just to provide a more effective device. Previous to that, we had been doing Windows devices, just to make some new and refurbished. Staff, we kind of went to those Macs just because they provide, better battery life for staff and better performance. And as Apple moved to the Apple Silicon platform, the cost kind of became a good differential as well. We piloted that in spring of 2004, and that involved, 26 MacBooks to a variety of staff. And we kind of used Mosel as our mobile device management solution. So that's to manage all those devices out there. So we were testing both the devices and the device management solution. We went into year one, we surveyed staff to kind of get our early adopters there. And things that we pushed when we did that early adoption too is we decided to move towards two-factor authentication for all our staff. So we're using Google Authentication for our MacBooks. Reasons behind doing two-factor authentication is it just provides better security for our staff accounts, but also, it provides a measure of coverage as far as insurance and things like that as well. So that first year, we surveyed staff, we got those early adopters, and we deployed there. Now we're in year two, and we're looking to deploy 71 MacBooks. So of that, we've deployed 26 to new staff. So generally what we do in the district is we do deploy new devices to new staff. It's just easier to do it at that point. And then we recycle other devices back in. So we deployed 26 of those. The remainder of those are going to be deployed towards the end of September. Once we complete our move to the new district office, we're kind of focusing on that a little bit. Towards the end of September into October, and we should have all of the 71 deployed. Then will be our year three. The goal will be to move everybody over to MacBooks. There are some limited staff, district office, and other people who will still use Windows devices who need to, but for the general point, it will be 86 MacBooks being deployed in year three as well. And then we'll be at full deployment. After that, the focus will be on our 5-year refresh cycle for staff devices. And, we're going to kind of early on, we'll phase some of those earlier than 5 years, just because we're in this 3-year deployment. We got to match it to that 5-year. But after that, we'll be on a 5-year deployment. Next slide. Chromebook roadmap. So historically, we've had a 6-ish year Chromebook refresh. Something that came up in the strategic plan was providing effective devices to students. Things that had come up was cart management with wiring. Some people had, there have been complaints with keyboards, things like that around Chromebook devices. We were looking to kind of improve that. It wasn't necessarily switching from Chromebooks. It's more just making sure that life cycle is fully utilized and that we're replacing devices effectively. So what we did, and alongside that, there was a need or want from teachers in the lower grade level. So we've been 1-to-1 at grades 3 through 5 for a number of years. We've been 1-to-1 take home in 6 through 8 since right after the pandemic. Kind of pushed that out in the pandemic. We kept it going forward. It was just to kind of improve the time spent in repairing devices and getting students replacements in 6 through 8, and also in 3 through 5, just making sure there was an effective way for staff to report issues with the card, make sure that wire management was better on those cards. And then in the lower grades, there was a need for more devices in classrooms. So we've had smaller classroom sets. We've had shared carts over the years. The decision we kind of came to was to move grade 2 and 1 to 1-to-1. So the first year was last year. We moved grade 2 to 1-to-1. So just like 3 and 5, 3 through 5, every classroom has a Chromebook cart now with a device. So we moved that. And we also added things like for our middle school, we added a locker solution for Ralston and Sandpiper. Nesbitt's doing a little bit differently, but Ralston and Sandpiper have a locker solution where student reports an issue with a Chromebook, they get a code, they can go and get a replacement device. So we implemented that previous to year one. Year one, we were kind of trying to work out all of the bugs and issues as far as getting those devices replaced in a timely manner. And then this year, what we're working on is kind of reining in some of the damage that we get in 6 through 8. Just, not so much, wear and tear or external, but the intentional damage, or like a big one we get is screen breaks. So kind of we're working on setting up billing for that. So we started that in the summer of last year. We did our first round of notifying parents about billing. And at the beginning of last year, we had notified people that we were going to start billing families for damage on Chromebooks, intentional damage on Chromebooks. So this year we're moving that into our new ticketing solution, which is Incident IQ, and I'll cover that in a little bit later. But we're going to move that billing into there, so it's a little bit more seamless for kids and parents as well. Year 2 is grade 1 deployment. So that grade 1 is moving to one-to-one carts as well. And then we're doing some phasing out in 3 through 5 of just our older Lenovo Gen 2 Chromebooks, which are not out of date yet, but they will be out of date in 2026. So we're just trying to get ahead of that as well. After that, it's mostly future planning for us. So a nice thing is, I know the board had highlighted, we're kind of artificially going through Chromebooks. They're not necessarily, previous Chromebooks would be fine, but they wouldn't get updates anymore. There was a limited lifespan of updates, anywhere from 5 to 7 years it was prior. And we would, intentionally have to e-waste devices because they were no longer getting updates. So they didn't support a lot of the curriculum material, the state testing, things like that. The nice thing is Google's kind of heard the complaints of schools on that, just a lot of unneeded waste. And they've increased the lifespan of Chromebooks to 10 years. So all new Chromebooks purchased after from 2022 on have a 10-year lifespan, as long as they're a 2022 model and on. So that was a part of that Lenovo Gen 2 100Es. Those fall a little prior to that. They're a 2020 model. So those are the last ones we have that weren't purchased in 2022 or later. So as soon as Google announced that, there was kind of word that was probably going to happen. So we've been trying to buy newer models in general. So once we get those 100Es out of there, we expect to actually have to phase out fewer Chromebooks. So generally what we were having to do was, by the 4 to 5 year lifespan, we were having to get rid of about 70 to 80%. But 40% were probably in good working condition. Now moving forward, we'll be able to keep that full 40% going forward. Even past that, our refresh cycle is 5 years for student Chromebooks. Next slide. So another piece was our infrastructure, just improving our network performance and capacity. Things that had come up with during that strategic planning was just enough bandwidth for students and teachers for the growing need of high bandwidth media content, and also capacity is a big one. We haven't necessarily used a lot of bandwidth and thing, but classrooms use a lot of capacity, for as far as wireless. So it's not necessarily everybody's using a lot of bandwidth. It's that there's so many students in a concentrated area. So it was focusing on those things. So the first piece we decided was our wired network would be first in line for that. But mostly that's because that's coming on 10 plus years. It was done in the last bond measure. So we went and we piloted that at Fox in the the summer of 2024. And we decided to move forward with an HPE Aruba solution. So previously we've had an HPE ProCurve solution, and it's very similar, and a lot of the same takeaways. Plus there's some good centralized management pieces with Aruba Central, which is a piece of software aligned with that. So we did adopt that solution, and we picked up that hardware towards the end of spring, early summer this year. And we're in the process of deploying that. We're expecting all of that to be deployed by late November. And so the whole project for that is around 1.5 million. It was from the previous bond work monies, and we do have a reimbursement of 295,000 from our E-rate funds for that, for Category 2 funds. It'll come from the federal government. The next piece that we're working on, and we've kind of continuously worked on, is just our internet WAN connection. So, for the internet, is our internet services, just like you would use at home. Our WAN connection is our wide area network that supports all of our school sites in our district office. So we've upgraded that previously from a 1 gig to a 3 gig connection a few years back. As we went to bid, because our Comcast contract was up, we went to bid and we bid out for a 5 gig connection with the intention to move to a 10 gig connection eventually. So within that 5-year contract, we can move to a 10 gig connection without having to go out to bid again because it's been the contract. It's just, we future-proofed a 10 gig connection at our district office, moving to Nesbit for that. But our district office is our main collector. That's going to move to Nesbit in the next couple of weeks. And that hosts our WAN. So that is a 10 gig connection now, whereas previously it was a 1 gig connection as well. And like I said, our primary site is moving to Nesbit. That aligns with the district office construction, but it also aligns with, we do have some power issues higher up on the hill. It's also a little bit more beneficial for our main site to be a school site. PG&E tends to, shut down power less for school sites. So Nesbit will be our main collector going forward. When the district office comes back, it'll just be a sub-site like the other school sites as well. The final piece for this is our wireless network. So last year I had presented, we did a full site survey at all of our sites. So that's just, doing heat mapping to see how the wireless is performing at all of the sites. In that we highlighted some areas of weakness. We've improved upon that. Now the next step is kind of the district planning for a wireless refresh. So our wireless system age ranges from anywhere from 8 years to 5 years for depending on the system. We're a mix of Ruckus and Ubiquity as our technologies there. We're probably looking to standardize a single system across the district. So what we're planning to do is kind of pilot that alongside our MUR work that's going to happen with this bond, with the first phase. The idea behind that will be we would pilot it this summer or install it this summer, pilot it during the school year, and go out to bid for either the next summer or the following summer to replace the whole wireless system throughout the district. Next slide. Last piece, or one of the last pieces is this kind of in the strategic plan was exploring AI and LLM technologies. It's very developing, still, even from when we first developed the strategic plan, when OpenAI had released their first models. It's a lot different, that landscape now. It's going to continue to change really quickly. So in that planning phase, we kind of just decided the best thing to do would be to monitor what was going on. Our year one approach was kind of just following a lot of the staff early adopter innovations, and Cipriani and a few other sites have done some PD around that. We've kind of followed along that. As far as the district office, myself and previously CBO Bao, had done a lot of coursework around prompt engineering, just so we could better understand it. You can't really expect other people to be using AI unless you completely understand it. And prompt engineering is really the biggest piece of it for user-facing AI, user-facing LLMs and AI. Our year two pieces are to continue to monitor a lot of that. That's kind of a continuing piece, but Google has recently, we are a Google Workspace district, obviously, and Google has recently moved the Gemini product into the Workspace product line. So we've opened up Google, Google Gemini for staff users within the district, and we'll start, advertising that to them as well. We opened it late spring, early summer for a few of the staff users last year that wanted to try it out. We've opened it to all staff since. And then, we're going to work on some of our own projects internally that we can kind of work at. Like we're going to work on building with the Notebook LM as a product in the Google Gemini suite, we're going to work on building a somewhat chatbot for our board policy and some of the administrative workflow. It's just a good proof of concept and a test. You can do as well. Slide. So some completed projects we had in our strategic plan as a part of our strategic plan, we've completed our phone system upgrade across the sites. So that was a long process to move through. So things that are big on that is it's a full IP system. So it utilizes our network. It's kind of a tech resource now rather than between a tech and phone resource. It's moved off of our old copper technology from AT&T. So AT&T is in the process of kind of soft phasing phasing a lot of that off. Over the years, we've had some issues with it. That is, a relief to be able to move that to an IP technology and kind of just run that as a service. Great features with that are just better phone quality, but also voicemail to email for staff and site-specific 911. So the 911 technologies that you have to deploy with new phone systems are a lot more targeted. So you can, when they call 911 from a classroom, it'll flag it at the front office, and the room that it's coming from. And it will also provide a lot of that mapping and, information that they would need for emergency services to be able to navigate. If they couldn't come to the front office or if they needed to go after hours, it would give them that information as well. So other things are cross-site transfers. So now our phone system used to be a little bit more segregated. We had phone controllers at each site. All of it works out of that main site now. So they can transfer calls directly from site to site now, which we couldn't do before. And improved caller ID. That was always a complaint for staff, is that you couldn't really see caller ID didn't work sometimes. It depended. It's a lot more improved now, as I think most people can attest to. Future pieces are we're just moving. We're going to be enabling site-wide all calls. That's for emergency calling. It'll have kind of a secret code that they could use to press into a phone and do an all call to the full site from any. And also panic alarms at the front office. So we're working on installing a button that could panic alarm on the phone system as well. Nice things about the phone system is it's a big piece is it's cost effective. We used to have to pay for our device licensing. We no longer have to do that. We just have to buy the cost of the phone. Phones are about 50% of the cost on the old than they were on the old system. Second piece is campus security enhancements. So we're transitioning all the sites from our older Sonatrol system to a Verkada system. So we've had a limited amount of Verkada cameras at all of the school sites. The focus on those has been mostly towards the exterior of campus to provide security and safety, not to watch students and staff as much. So we've completed 4 sites. Redwood Shores was our pilot site on the Verkada alarm system a year and a half ago. This summer we moved Cipriani, Nesbitt, and Sandpiper to that. So the nice thing with the system is it's a full tech system, so or tech-based system. So it's all web-based management on that. It provides camera verification for both administrators for an event that would come up, or the Verkada screening staff that would call for an event, an alarm that went off. The cameras are all kind of strategic place. We moved some of those. We took the opportunity when we were doing the alarms to move some of those and upgrade a few of them that were kind of lacking. And that's kind of focused again around our safety and privacy piece rather than monitoring our school site at large. We've also added scheduled disarming and arming. So the nice thing on that is a big piece. We've had a problem with this false alarms with Belmont PD showing up or Redwood Shores. It's just people, not knowing if a door is closed, not knowing if a door is opened, disarming, or not knowing if a site is armed or disarmed on the weekends or off hours. We've moved to a schedule where we're arming the system at a certain time, automated, and disarming it at a certain time. And that prevents, it doesn't have all of the staff at large outside of custodians and administrators having to really arm and disarm the system all the time. We've already seen a decrease in the amount of events there. And that is our completed projects for our strategic plan. Another piece that we did complete was our tech ticket management system. So we've moved from Fresh to Incident IQ, and that's going really well. We've been advertising it to staff, and it's been pretty well received. Okay.
Thank you, Jerome.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any questions for Jerome? Go ahead.
Thank you. Jerome, thank you again for your presentation. We're curious, the AI piece, you have, so you said here, that it seems there it says year 2, deploying Gemini to staff workplace. But you also mentioned that you kind of let early adapt. Sorry about that. Can you hear me now? Okay. Can you just explain why we're waiting till year 2? Because I think as
So-
staff and I get.
Yeah. So
Go
year
ahead.
2 is actually now. This is year 2.
This is year 2, there we go. Never mind.
This is year 2 for that, just like with our staff Chromebooks and the student devices,
Okay.
that doesn't align necessarily with. their
We're in
zones
year
for
2. All right.
So we're gonna, like I said, we continue that monitoring of how people are using AI in the classroom, opening up the Gemini product because that's something we have available for. So we've opened that up to staff. We had about 20 staff into last year who were asking for it. We were just waiting to kind of open that up for us. So now that it is available, it's not, I wouldn't say it's equivalent to the pro product that you subscribe through for Gemini. It's somewhere in between.
Okay.
We do pay for workspace licensing. Workspace licensing as a district, Google has kind of leveraged that into there. So it's in the middle of all of that, what their access level is.
Okay. Thank you for doing that. With the Verkada, the other 3 sites that has not transitioned to it,
So
is there a
we are
timeline?
working on, Reese and I are working, CBO, Atsumoto, and working on transitioning those this summer. We're still kind of in the planning phases for that. But it looks like we can do all of them this summer, the remaining sites. So that would be Ralston Central and Fox. The district office would get done probably somewhere around September or August or September, depending on where construction is at. But all of them should be done by next summer or into late October.
Thank you. The final question I had was, one of the goals was reducing the damage rates to the Chromebook. So I was curious, did you feel like the communication to the parents that we were going to charge them? I didn't know if that, how the mitigation of reducing, have we
We
reduced
did
it?
when we first advertised it to parents.
Yep.
We did see a drop in the amount of damage for Chromebooks. On the flip side, we've seen an increase this beginning of the school year. We do think that we've seen less repeat offenders for Chromebook damage, which is really what we were trying to focus on. That I would say that's not the largest part. Generally kids are breaking one device, in a year. If they break it at, in their whole 3-year span of middle school, they may be breaking one screen. I don't think that's necessarily decreased at large, but we've definitely seen a lot less of the repeat or some of the intentional damage that we were seeing.
So from that aspect, you're happy with
Yeah,
the
I think we do
message?
have some room to improve there and figure out ways to increase student responsibility around those devices, but we're getting there.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you have questions?
Yeah, I just had a question around, how do you see any challenges with the teachers going to MacBooks and the students still being on the Chromebooks? They're just 2 very different user interfaces.
Yeah. So
And the incongruency there sometimes.
yeah, I don't think we have a lot of challenges there, mostly because we've been a Google Workspace district as far as most of our products for a number of years. Another piece when moving to MacBooks is we started phasing out Microsoft Office. That was a big thing in that early adopter year. Continued it. We're not installing Office as a default on those. It's just a push to, obviously we have Google Workspace as a platform. It's much better as a collaborative platform than just, using Office for those tools. So it's, our teachers have definitely, post-pandemic have moved towards their Google Workspace tools, in there. So I think with the productivity suite being accessible on both, and, tools like Classroom and others that are aligned, and most of our curriculum is web-based now. It's no longer, related around direct software installs on either device.
I think what I'm thinking is more around those younger grade levels, especially as you have new teachers who've come in who may not be so familiar with how we're doing things. They're adjusting to a MacBook And then they have these kids that don't know what they're doing saying, oh my gosh, so-and-so, I don't know what's my Clever login? Like, you know what I mean? So do we have any plans in place to help, especially those newer teachers who don't necessarily know how
So we do
those-
have one of our staff members, Vinny, is kind of allotted towards staff devices in general, or staff technologies in the classroom. The teachers who have needed a little bit more, a little bit more intervention as far as learning to use a Mac device and how to effectively use it in a classroom, we've been helping them more one-on-one. I think last year when we deployed to our teachers, we gave them the choice between new teachers. We gave them the choice between a MacBook and a Windows device. Of the people we deployed to, we only had 2 people who allotted for the Windows device. Everybody else went for the Mac. Those 2 people, this year we've had, I think, probably around 2 to 3 again. We just gave them more one-on-one time to get them used to using those devices and how to effectively use them.
Thank you.
Any questions? All right. Start next item.
All right. Again, thank you, Director Simon, and your small but mighty team. You guys have done a lot of work. Thank you. A quick point of order. I just want to note, and I was supposed to announce this at my superintendent's update. Beginning of the school year, we always have back to school nights. The number of days for our schools to have back to school nights and avoid all conflicts, including board meetings, is really minimal. So I just want to note that I think it is fantastic that all of our trustees have students in our schools. That is amazing. And we want to make sure that you can participate with your kiddos as well. So I know Trustee Dang is headed out to Central here starting shortly, and Trustee Koss and Trustee Bruno also have back to school nights. And then next week is Ralston, and many of you will be there. So just thank you for that, and thank you for your flexibility in meeting times.
Thank you for the thank you. Item number 9, Ed Service Update with Assistant Superintendent.
Hi, good evening, everyone. All right, we have a quick presentation for you to give you a little bit of an update on what we did during the summer while schools were closed. District office remained open and we were continuing to serve students. So I am joined tonight by Director Jenny Payne, as well as Caroline Baldonado, who is currently Sandpiper 7th grade teacher, but served as our ESY principal. We are going to talk a little bit about the extended school year offerings that we did this summer, as well as Power Scholars Academy, and just a little bit of PD that we offered for our teachers. So I'm going to invite Caroline up. Caroline did an amazing job in her first admin role.
Again, I'm Caroline Baldonado. I'm a teacher at Sandpiper, but I had the honor of being a principal this summer, and I loved every moment of it. So I'm just here to tell you about our amazing team. As many of you already know, we over ESY focus on academic growth and social development and really maintaining key skills for students over the summer. It's a 4-week program. We had about 70 students that attended regularly, with 9 mild, moderate, and moderate severe classes from preschool all the way to 8th grade. So quite a range on one campus. You can head to the slide. Oh, even better. Thank you. God, I love all these pictures. Okay, so I have really quick notes because I wanted to just give shout outs to so many people. I think that what really made this summer so successful was the amazing team that we had. From many of our teachers that came on for the summer are our regular teachers during the school year. They already have solid relationships with our students. And for some of them, they've actually been their teacher for multiple years, because some of our special education classes are, maybe a 3-year span. So I think having those solid relationships with students, it really showed over the summer, and also their families. I also want to point out that we did have some temporary staff come on for the summer, and maybe in the paraeducator position, and they enjoyed it, and we actually were able to hire some on for the school year. So it's really lovely to see them as part of our annual or yearly team. I have to give the tech team, I'm not just saying this because Jerome is here, but the tech team and also facilities a huge shout out. They were my right hand. I would text, I would email, I would send anything, and they were there on campus immediately. And they were extremely supportive. A lot of our students have special devices. They're AAC devices, which are like iPads, Chromebook chargers, whatever I need, I really had access to. And our facilities team, I mean, they're also awesome. So I just have to say they're great. So special programs department, phenomenal, but also the support staff that kind of backed us up. Some of the pictures you're going to see up here tonight is our field trip to Wonderlic Park in Redwood City. This is actually the first time that ESY has taken students on a field trip. The shirts, I have to say, were all high visibility shirts for the students. We were kind of in like a wooded area, and some of the kids did do some hiking. But they were in a neon yellow shirt. We could see them really well. We were fully staffed. And Opening Doors PTA paid for our shirts, which was wonderful. And the buses were all paid for by the town of Woodside. It's part of their program at Wonderlic Park. And volunteer docents led us through. We also had some other fun activities this summer. From Redwood City Library came out and did a special assembly with us. We had theme days. We did a water day where the students were able to do a lot of water play. And overall, it was just a lot of wonderful experiences for the students. I think one thing that I'm really proud of with ESY is the unique opportunity to blend all the schools together. So typically these kids are on many different school sites, but over the summer, they all came together. It made it wonderful because the teachers were really able to collaborate and work together throughout the 4-week program, but also the students were able to interact with each other, really build on relationships, social skills, their language skills. And so one of the teachers said, we saw students make incredible strides as they worked in developing confidence and social interactions with the peers. And I think that these photos really show it. I think one photo I'm the most proud of is in the bottom right. And that is one of our students with his paraeducator. He went running up to her and I tried to grab my phone as soon as I could. But I think that really encapsulates the feelings of this summer and the success of it and the love that our special programs and our BRSSD staff have for this group of students in general. And sometimes days are hard and they go through challenging things, but these people are not just here as a job. They're here because they are really passionate about what they do. And they just deserve a shout out. So thank you. I'm just so impressed. I loved being a part of this team. And I just wanted to give a shout out to everyone, including Sonia Viana, who she's told me not to say anything, but she is behind the scenes. She is a person that works at the district office with Jenny often, and she's phenomenal and she does so much and she really is a big piece of this. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. Because Caroline was running that program, neither of us had to worry. It was amazing. This was my first summer where I didn't really have to worry about any of the programs, so it was
Nice.
fantastic. We also ran Power Scholars Academy at Central. We had 463 students invited, of which 111 enrolled and participated. Stephanie McMaster, our wonderful reading specialist from Nesbitt, took the helm. She's not the official principal, but she was I don't know what their title is at the YMCA, the coach of the program. She took care of everything. She worked with the staff. She made sure kids were in the correct places. She facilitated. And again, I didn't get a single phone call on the few days that I was off during the program. She ran everything. We had 7 teachers from within the district. This was actually the first year we had more teachers interested in working than we had spots. We also had counselors participate, and they staffed the program every single day between 3 different counselors. Again, more counselors wanting to participate, and we had to divvy up and say, you know what, we've got to stop because we can't have you there for 2 days at a time. But it was an incredible program. The pictures that you see there are the annual graduation. This was hosted up in San Bruno, and our kids were giving a speech about all the things that they learned and then performing a dance. Really quite touching to see all of these kids having fun during the summer. Best part was you can see some parents standing up in the photos. I went to go watch the graduation. I was not prepared to see so many Nesbitt families. So many Belmont-Redwood Tourist families. I only know that they're Nesbitt because I knew who their kids were. But there were so many parents there to see their kids, and it was really exciting. Also over the summer, you've seen the slide before, we hosted a kind of pre-start of school training for M-Class. As you'll remember, we adopted M-Class for our reading difficulty screener. It is also replacing our K2 benchmark assessment because we have the ability to do the 3 times a year, and it really is fully aligned to to measuring reading progress. So we had 15 teachers come in the summer to get trained early. So they are going to start assessing students. The remainder of the K2 teachers, we have a total of 45, will get their training on September 29th during the learning day. That's our summer. A little bit breezy, a little bit fast, but do you have any questions?
Learning. Okay. Can you briefly remind us, or me, what the difference between the extended school year and the Power Scholars
Yeah.
Academy? What the-
Extended school year is specifically for students with IEPs for
Okay.
whom summer loss would take longer than 2x the vacation to recapture at the beginning of the school year. So really for our kids in the special day classes, not just general kids with special ed needs. And then PSA is our summer ELOP program, our
Okay.
30 days of 9 hours.
That's, it's the, right, so that's the YMCA.
We
partnership.
hire the
Yeah.
YMCA to run that program, yes.
So it's amazing that the field trip and everything, I think that's awesome. It's always great when the kids get out. How did the town of, what was the reason the town of Woodside was able to partner with us or pay for the school bus? I think that's awesome.
So, we were looking for a field trip for the students. The previous summer, students had walked because we were at Nesbit, so they walked to the gas station. And really our goal of working on social skills, we were looking for another field trip. So Sonia Vienna, I have to say, she's the one that found it. And Woodside regularly does this. They get grants and funding and they welcome school sites and they pay for the buses, which is really the largest expense.
Hmm.
And they also have the docents come as they're all volunteers that are happy to be there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really wonderful.
Next summer, I don't know if they're still gonna be there at that site, but the horse ranch, I know I always find like animals, people say, right, animals are very cathartic. I mean, they are to me. So maybe and I know they do things with Girl Scouts and everything, so maybe there's an opportunity if they're still around, since they are on that site.
They actually brought out a mini pony.
Okay,
And so
cool.
I probably have 500 pictures from that day alone. I could show you. And so many of our students were able to go up to the
Nice.
mini pony. There's one student in particular who I honestly feel that she probably never had seen or interacted with a horse before. And so it was just a beautiful moment. Also at that time, even though we weren't there for the horses, they had horse camps going on. So there
Yeah.
was other kids on horses coming through.
Yeah.
So we did at a safe distance get to interact with horses. So it was wonderful.
Yeah, I'm sure it
The
is.
thing we're looking forward to, I'm doing at Sandpiper is I'm doing a collaboration with Canine Companions. So it's something that we've done at Redwood Shores. Those are actually therapy dogs. And so I'm going to be bringing them into the middle school setting and having much more animal therapy services done. And so we're just something that we're doing. I know we also have a therapy dog. What's her little name again? Margot is one of our therapy dogs with Chris and Sevilla. And so I think that it's something that I'm interested in and many other people are. We just have to navigate allergies and things like that. So making sure we're keeping all the kiddos safe that can be around them. But I absolutely believe bringing in animals is a goal that we'll have to do. Yeah.
One final question, just, it's great that it's getting a lot of play or exuberance by the staff that want to do it, that they're almost on a wait list. But what do you think it's word of mouth? Do you think it's just, well, obviously the programming is of interest to them? Like, do you have any ideas? Why?
I think there's multiple reasons. I think this is the first time I'm a general education teacher and I'm going into administration, but the special programs department is a wonderful department to be a part of. They work really hard. They also have a lot of camaraderie amongst each other. We also did fun things like Taste of the Table where we have like meals together. I brought in a variety of Oreos. Dan's seen me do this before, but there's other things we do to really build a culture and climate to make it fun. I wanted it to be a fun environment. I wanted, if I'm going to have a really quick staff meeting every Monday, a check-in meeting, I wanted them to come in with a smile. I think oftentimes in education, we have hard days sometimes. And so I think that was really an important thing. But I have to say it's really the special programs department is really the heroes in this.
Well, no.
During my last, come up to the people I'll taste up here otherwise. Oh, you're not at the microphone.
During my last meeting with all the SPED staff, I promised them like, you will walk in there that you'll have the curriculum, you have the materials, and you don't have to scrounge around and buy. And so that was an assurance for our staff to know that, okay, I have it, like I have my class, I have all the materials, and I have my support staff. So That assurance is big.
Oh, I agree with you.
That's similar for PSA, right? Stephanie has been our coach guru there for the past couple summers, and it's through her personal recruiting. And every single one of the PSA teachers that I saw over the summer said this was the smoothest year ever. We're so happy to be doing this. They get the curriculum, they're fully,
Yeah.
same thing. Materials are not a problem.
Great.
It's,
Well,
it's good to have people working with our students.
thank you for your leadership, and thank you for selecting good leaders. And I'm so happy that they had an amazing summer in both programs.
Right. Thank you for that. On to item number 10, our CSBA policy board policy update with Superintendent Aguirre.
So as typical, we always go through 2 reads of suggested board policies. This is the June update from CSBA of all the amendments and policy recommendations. Cabinet staff have thoroughly reviewed. It is open for first read. Board has a look, can suggest amendments, ask questions, same as the public may. If there's any suggestions or needed amendments, staff will make those, take those along the way, and then we'll bring the policies back for a second read and approval next month. I will, just because Jerome presented tonight, just note that there is a policy on here from CSBA recommended of AI. I'm going to just say it doesn't get into the nitty gritty that necessarily do's and don'ts, but sets a general groundwork, which is the first step. So we're happy to be recommending that for approval as well. But happy to answer any questions for the board as they come up either tonight or between now and next meeting.
Thank you. It's a discussion item. Are there any questions? Seeing if there are none, we're going to move to item number 11, future board meeting agenda items. Back to you.
On the 27th, next week, and I will note that is a change that was included in our consent change of board meeting from the 28th to the 27th to avoid back to school nights. We will be meeting here at SMCOE. A couple items on the agenda. English language arts, specifically the science of reading. Facilities master plan, we'll be talking about updates to tranches and getting into some details there about next steps. And then hopefully with all that, we'll still have some time for governance, but it should be a good meeting next week. And then September 11th is our next regularly scheduled board meeting. On topics for that, we'll have had a two by two with Sequoia, so we'll debrief that. Director Eastburn will be giving a comprehensive enrollment report for the new year, how everything settled in. And then Reese will be providing a construction update as well as some main topics.
Beautiful. Any comments there on the agenda? Seeing as there are none, we've made it to item number 12. I'm going to call this meeting closed at 6:03 p.m.